Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
And right now today is Wednesday. We have a couple of red folders, Canadian red folder at 8:30. And then later on today at 10:30, actually 2 o'clock, I guess it looks like this will be some FOMC economic projections coming from our feds. There's some red folders there at 2 o'clock. That's just near before the market closes, the afternoon session. And then at 2:35, we have New Zealand, Aussie, US. So there's going to be some activity today. So be very aware of those time frames. And if you start seeing some moves before or during that time, you'll know what's causing it. Okay. And the last alert we had, let me go to the charts. And then everybody should be seeing my charts. We have just got an Aussie Swiss trade. Now looking at the splash screen, we do look like we have some strength. It was strong on the euros. On the US dollar was the strongest, and the Aussie Australian dollar was the weakest. So we'll be trading to those the Australian dollar, trading to the weakness of the Australian dollar. So we'll be looking at this, and maybe we want to be going short with this Aussie Swiss. Let's take a look at the chart and see if there's anything there. Aussie Swiss. There it is. Bring it up. Aussie Swiss. There is. So if we're looking at strength to the Swiss, and we'd be looking to a down move. We have a down arrow. Let's see how close this thing came. We have 3 green, 3 red, pretty much equal. Now we'd like to have 50 pips in between the zones. I don't know if we have, but from the bottom of the arrow, which is right here, to the bottom of the zone, we have a grand total of 2 pips. So not enough room to take that trade. Maybe possibly be able to get a bounce off of that and maybe go to the upside. But even so, if that's, I'd question would we have 50 pips in between here. We only have 15 pips in between the 2 zones. So there's not enough room to really take any trades. Even if you didn't need the 50 pip requirement, it's still only 15 pips. At best, if you got the top 2/3 of it, you may be able to get your 10 pips out of it, but that would be a stretch as well. So we'll pass on that one. US yen. US yen. There we go. And double check to make sure you're all in 15-minute charts. Make my last scan here. And it looks like we're all in 15 minutes. So US yen. Bring that up. Then we have a buy. Let's see what kind of trend line we have. We are in these uptrends, so a buy would be good. Now the question is, do we have enough room to the target? I'm going to guess maybe not. I think we probably would have needed, I think we're probably pretty much right there. Again, we said that the US dollar was the strongest. Again, you only have 4 pips to target. It's already well past that point of you're about ready to get that bounce off of this zone. Again, no trade there. Gold. Sell on gold. Let's see where that is. And as a reminder, everybody, if you have any questions or comments, put them in the question and answer box. We'll be more apt to see them and be able to address the questions. If you put them in the chat box, there's a better than average chance that we'll miss it and we won't get it addressed for you.
How's my partner in crime doing?
Oh, there he is.
Hey, Matt. How are you?
Hi, guys.
Matt.
And Matt, I told everybody that I might have to bug out of here a few minutes early today. So if you and Christine and Eva and CB can handle it till the end of the session, that'd be appreciated.
Yeah. Consider it done.
So let's see. We're
Consider it done.
looking at gold. Here we go.
Didn't mean to cut your train of thought there. I'm just actually scanning the chart, seeing if we can find a nice little setup there.
Yeah, keep looking
Something
right now.
tradable.
I'm not seeing anything tradable. We did have those trades we took yesterday worked out okay. It took a while, but they hit my target. It's only 10
Good.
pips, and then they actually went higher. It took a little while for it to develop, but it did work.
Yeah, it's been the market's been consolidating pretty heavily over the last little bit,
Yeah,
at least
it's
from what
really-
I've seen.
I'm not
It's been
seeing,
weird.
We've been getting alerts right about the time, but pretty much after the fact of when it would do us any good. We could get these alerts. Now this one here is interesting with this gold is like it's going deep into this green zone.
Yes, sir.
And that's 17. I mean, he's had a nice little pullback because it was up around, I think it got down around 1600 last week. And I think, how low did it get last week? Let me see here. This was just a couple of days ago. Yeah, a couple of days ago, it was all the way down here at 1700, bounced back up to 1740. That's a nice $40 move on gold. And now it's coming right back down to retest this zone. We are in an uptrend on the 5-minute. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Oh, that's right. Yep, we are in an uptrend. And so we're going to mark that. Arrow up, uptrend. And we've got down arrows, but I'm not going to touch that with the 10-foot pole, not with this right now. And let's scroll it back a little bit, see what we get a little bit better picture of it. Scrunch it down, the highly technical term that we use.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Scrunching the bottom works well.
Scrunch the bottom, scrunch the side.
Got to patent that phrase.
Yeah, I need to make that the Hawkeye's trading strategy is scrunch the chart. All right, so nothing really much. I mean, there's nothing really to do with this. It is in a strong. This is a strong move down. I'd be looking at maybe this might be a nice one to get a nice little bounce arrow go to the upside. I would like that a whole lot better. You do see that we did have a trend line drawn over here. We're going to extend that trend line out. And I'll just catch that little wick down here. So you can see where it did break this trend line. So it may actually be reversing the trend a little bit, but I want to see it to come up and retest this trend line before I take another shot at it. And right now, all these orders over here have been eaten up. But a lot of times when you see these really strong moves down, this is like a rock falling off the cliff or a rocket ship taking off and hits the zone. You get these really strong moves into the zone, and that's where it reverses right back again. So keep that in mind. That be looking more for a bottom. Look for that little formation that it's reversing at the bottom of this strong move here. So that'd be my suggestion with that. Right now, there's nothing to take. It's either going to continue falling or it's going to reverse and bounce and maybe retest. I would be looking for a bounce off of here, come back up, come back, retest it, and then give us our little wedge. This is where we get that little W forming. We get that slight little, come back and retest this pivot. Now this might keep on going down as this thing keeps falling, but we want to see that kind of a reversal pattern somewhere. When it gets to an end, gets a nice little pullback, and then have to come back and retest this line right down here. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that one. We did get the break of this major trend line. And this one, we could probably take this one off.
Philip has a suggestion of the euro pound as a sell on the 15-minute.
Euro pound on the 15. I'm glad he's on a 15-minute. That's always nice to hear that, though I don't have to change my chart. So it's be let's see what do we have here? We have euro pound. Pound is relatively strong to the euro, not by a lot. Our Are we in an uptrend or a down? Looks like we're going to be in a downtrend. Let's see if that holds true. So far it does. And I'll bet if we put a fractal on here, I'll bet we're going to get some fractals in this area. That fractal trades, when you get those fractals in these zones, I kind of like that, actually. It worked out yesterday for us, and that it was one of the tiebreakers as to taking that trade yesterday. It took a while for it to develop. We took some heat on it, but it did eventually work. So maybe something to that theory. Let me get the fractals in here. And anybody wants to know how to get those fractals up, just go ahead and click on your insert indicators. Come over here, drop down to Bill Williams. Come over here, find your fractals, and make them whatever color you want and put them on. And there's a fractal there. There's a fractal. See, here's a fractal in the zone. Came up to the next zone. Fractals in the zone. Came all the way down to the next zone. We have fractals here. This would be a good indication that we may be able to get some. We are in a downtrend. Now the question is, how much can we get out of this? We did get an arrow here. This was a little bit earlier today. And we've got 16 pips. I would probably go for maybe 10 on this one. We do have a trend line coming up. I'll be taking a look at that. This just goes a little just further analysis than on whether or not to distinguish good trades from bad trades. Or just all it does is add your these are your probability factors. These are your odd enhancers, as we would call it. Is that it right now came back down, had a fractal, backed up here, came back down. If we can get the break here and get a little break here, we take a try and go for just go for a little short run on this one. We do have the strength in our side. We do have it is in a downtrend. It did just make a new red zone. We had the bounce, we had the arrow. The go is up here, which is where out of the chute a little bit, but it may not be too bad. I don't like chasing trades, but we're 4 pips out of it. But if we can get a nice little pullback, maybe we get a little pullback back up into these moving averages. We do have the moving average. We have the moving average crossover here. It's coming down. We have a downtrend. The arrow moving average is still kind of pointing down. This one's kind of flattening out a little bit. But if we can get a nice little push off of here, euro, and I would say, I'm going to go ahead and we do have a fractal here, which means it's got to get past this little area right in here. I would like to see it break through that. At least get a close below this little pivot here. Here's a strong move up, formed a zone, came back down. Here's your probably a 50% retracement to our Fibonacci. Now we're on a 15-minute chart still. Are we? Make sure we are. Yep. So here's our Fibonacci retracement. But now we are, this is the contra trend. This would be, the retracement would be is that it went up, pulled back 50%, 50, 60%. Right now is right between 50, 60%. I would expect it to come back up. Maybe it may come up a little bit deeper to retest this area and then fall back down if the trend still stays intact. So to get a little bounce right here would not really surprise me too much to the upside. But this is, I would much rather have the trend being from here down, pull back 50%, and then continue on down. This is kind of going in really the wrong direction for the Fibonacci method. You really want to be going with the trend, pull back against the trend, and then continue back with the trend. So the trend is down. So I would prefer if this were, let's see if I can get this thing, take the Fibonacci off of there.
When you have a moment, Al, there's a question of what is a fractal?
What is a fractal? A fractal is basically it's a pivot. It's a pivotal turning point of a move. Is where you have that wick and 2 lower highs. Like this top fractal here would be you have a pivot high. It's like you have that strong wick, and you have a lower high on the left and a lower high on the right of that 3 candle formation. The fractal is going to be that middle candle where the extended wick is. That's usually what generates the fractal. So basically, it's a three candle formation with the middle candle of the three being in the higher or the lower part of it. That's basically what a fractal is.
Hey Al, if I could add just one more layer to that, I didn't know this until yesterday when CB and I were chatting, and we were looking at fractals and Bill Williams' definition.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. It actually, did you ever notice that sometimes the fractals they'll like flicker or sometimes disappear every once in a while after the first candle starts forming?
I have not noticed that. I haven't really been looking at them that close until just the last couple of days when they were brought to my attention.
Oh, okay. Well, actually, what we found out is that it's actually only going to be.
I'm going to take this trade. I'm taking this trade, just so you know.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I did. Go keep on talking. I just want to let me know that I'm taking this trade.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, the fractal's not confirmed until two candles after the that extended range candle. It looks kind of like a middle finger. So when we see it on the chart, sometimes it looks like it's a 3 candle formation, but based on his definition, it's actually a 5.
Huh. Okay. Well, that's good to know. I didn't know that. That's
yeah, I didn't know it until yesterday.
So the fractals will go away after the 4th candle if it's not confirmed by the 5th candle.
Bingo! It'll start appearing on that on the 4th finger, but it's not confirmed until the 5th finger closes, and then you know for sure that it's a fractal.
Yep.
That's good to know that. Yeah, that could be real catchy.
I was talking to Matt and I was watching the charts and I noticed all of a sudden a fractal disappear. And I'm like, Matt, you know anything about that? And we looked it up and it's a 5 candle formation out of 3. So
that's something to file away in your things to know. That's for sure.
It sure is, especially for us, because I've been saying it's been three candle formation ever since I heard about fractals.
Yeah, I've always known B3 candle, but well, that's good to know. That's good to know.
Absolutely.
Just so a side note, they'll come in with a 3 candle, but it won't stay unless it's confirmed on the 5th candle.
Yeah.
Okay.
And sometimes, you know what it looks like is sometimes you'll have fractal after 2 candles and another fractal, and that's why maybe we thought it was a 3 candle pattern, but it's actually the 2 first candles, the middle one, and the 2 last ones.
Okay. So that'd be this candle right here, and then it's looking at lower lows on this side and this one, and then lower lows on this candle and this candle, which is actually the one that generated the arrow right here.
Bingo.
Which I find somewhat interesting as well. I did take this trade. I'm giving it a 20 pip stop and a 10 pip target. I think that's what I've got set up here on this. Modify 20 pip stop, 10 pip target. And my target's still way just a little bit before this green zone. Is that way if it comes back down in this, and we did break this trend line. And actually, I could have almost put this trend line up here where the fractal was.
Yeah.
Because that's
Aussie CAD as well. Eh? We had an alert a couple minutes back, and it looks good. I want
on which one? The Euro, New Zealand?
Aussie CAD.
Aussie CAD. Let's take a look at that one. We'll have a couple trades today. Aussie CAD. That's right over here. It's broke through this zone here. Aussie CAD. Aussie's weak, CAD is stronger. Aussie is
below that zone.
Aussie's, so the CAD would be looking to the downside. Okay, so it's breaking through this zone right here. Are we still in the 15-minute? Yep. And where's our target going to be? We have a lot of space, lots of red on top. So this strength to the downside. Let's see, where would our target be on this? I gotta look at my other charts. Aussie CAD. Get my trading view charts up here.
Oh yeah, that's true about the news there.
8:30. Yeah, we do have some news at 8:30, so we may need to keep that one in mind. Let's see if this one works. Trying to find my Aussie CAD chart. There we go. Take a look at this on the, oops, can't do that. Let's do it this way. All right, what happened here? I should be able to just slide this over and it's not allowing me to do that. All right. Let's do this, do another way. Go to screen sharing and I'll share my other monitor. Oh, I don't know why that did that. All right, everybody see my Aussie CAD charts?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna see where, I don't want to take a trade unless I know where the target's gonna be.
Some wisdom right there.
And so I'm going to scroll back, see how far back I have to go. I'm gonna go to a higher time frame to speed this process up a little bit. I'm at a 4-hour, here's the daily. So you can look at the daily. You can usually find something close in on a daily chart. Here's where it's coming in. Right now I'm looking at, this is a clear shot downhill to about this green line. So there's lots of room here. And that's a good 19 pips. We did break through the zone. We do have some pressure to the downside. The CAD is stronger. I'll go ahead and take this trade as well. So, Aussie CAD.
Hey, Al,
Yes.
I just want to mention, I mean, I was looking at that from an arrow perspective. There wasn't really a bounce unless I'm missing it.
Well, what I like about this is it's got a lot of strength to the downside and broke through the zone with a strong candle down with a small little retracement back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I like this one.
Got it.
Usually if it has a zone that we did get the bounce off of this zone, but this zone's not holding anymore. And it's been penetrated. So all these candles over here have been penetrated. It's been closed down. And this candle closed with little or no wick, has small pullback, and now it's coming back down again. So I'm okay with taking this one. It's not exactly the bounce arrow go strategy, but this does fit into my criteria for
Still a good trade setup.
Yeah.
Aussie CAD, you said, right?
Aussie CAD, yeah. And the CAD is showing strength. And when you look at this on the daily chart, you can see that way back here at, let me see what the time date of this one is. This is where the CAD started taking this. This was back in December. So this candle right here, this blue candle I'm sitting on right now, is the middle of December, where the CAD started, where the Aussie started getting stronger down here, and this thing's been kind of on this slow slope downhill ever since the middle of February. So I'm okay with this one. But I'm looking at this area right here as being my target, right around where this green line fib line is.
We have a red folder for Canada at 8:30 too, right? We talked about that.
Yeah, and this could be the pre-move to that.
Right.
Yep. So, and that's still another 30 minutes away. So it may, if we could very well hit our target before the 8:30, and then this thing could bounce right back up again. This could be just a little bit of we're just going to keep an eye on it.
Al, Christopher was mentioning that this is a money zone break.
Oh, okay. Well, that helps too. I didn't even look at that one. That's why it's nice having people in this room that kind of know some of these strategies, because it helps all of us to. Here was the yesterday's money zone here, with about where the green.
We can't see what you're looking at.
Oh, that's right, because I had to change my screen. Let me get back to where I was. I don't know why I did that. I was able to do that yesterday. Let me try it again. Nope, it's just not letting me do that.
Oh, we saw your screen there, Al.
Yeah, I'm just trying to See if I can, there you go. Maybe that's what it was. Let me see if I may have too many things behind it. Try it one more time. Nope, still won't do it. No, I've got to figure that one out. Okay, so here's our Aussie CAD. And here's yesterday's money zone. Here's the money zone break would be, but my green, there's yesterday's money zone. We did get the break. Here's today's money zone. We didn't really get, I mean, we can't say it is today's money zone break because today's money zone is still forming. It's making new highs and new lows, but from the overnight, let's clarify this one a little bit.
Yeah,
Let's go, I'm gonna put this into the 17th. There's the beginning of the money zone. Yesterday's money zone breaks. We have to go back to yesterday's break because this one's going to be far until this one, until we get to around noon or 1 o'clock. This one's going to be forming. It's going to be making new highs and new lows. Here's where yesterday's money zone broke, and that broke pretty much overnight. Here was the, well, let's see. Let me see if I can expand this a little bit here. This was the high of the money zone till the overnight high was right around in there. The overnight low was right around in this one, I believe. Let's see, let me expand that a little bit more. It's really pretty, that's really pretty tight overnight session here. But here was yesterday's money zone, and that actually broke earlier when it came in. It's just breaking it. Now it's just breaking the overnight low, basically what's happening here. So.
Well, Aussie CAD is a great wedge breakout, by the way, guys. Great wedge breakout.
And that would be from what time frame there, Matt?
Oh, on the 15. The trade that we just took.
So you're basically looking at this little wedge. Well,
I went back a little bit.
I have to go back to
those two highs.
To here.
Yeah. So I took those two highs where that up arrow is.
From here to around here.
Bingo. There. And then I did a flat bottom.
And then a flat bottom, which is basically your zone right here, and just
bingo.
Broke out of that zone.
And that's your wedge. It actually breaks the bottom of the wedge and then comes back up and tags it. That new candle there tags the bottom trend line, which validates that this is a solid that's a solid trend line.
Yeah, I like the fact that you can almost even look if you have a nice thin zone right here at the bottom of where this wedge was, and it breaks out the bottom with a strong candle down with no wick, and it can't seem to break on the other side of it before it goes lower. I mean, I could really probably, in all practicality, I could probably put my stop. Let's just go to a 5-minute chart here, just to expand this a little bit.
You got version 4 up there, my friend?
Who, me?
Yeah. Not the dashboard, but just the arrow version 4.
I do not have version 4 yet.
Okay, because they released it yesterday.
What did they?
Yeah, just the software version, not the dashboard. Not the dashboard yet. So there's
you probably have it, Al. If you look in your indicators list, there's 3.1 and 4.0 listed in there now.
Let me see. That's worth looking. And here's my indicator list. No,
it doesn't really change graphically or anything. It's just supposed to help with the VPN
performance.
I may have to look. I may have to look at my navigator, see if it's hiding in my navigator someplace.
Yep. Go to indicators. Yep. Should be right there. There it is.
Oh, there we go. Okay. So I'd have to put that on all the charts. Let's see.
Well, yeah, do it later on. I'll do it later.
But you have to load that on each one of the individual charts.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I missed that one yesterday.
No worries. It was just a quick message that was sent out.
Well, that's good for everybody to know that. That may help speed some things up for you too.
I am pretty sure it will. They enhance the code so that it requires less resources.
Yeah, I got 30 charts open with you right now, and so far it's really smooth in comparison to what we've had in the past.
Likewise.
Oh, good, good, good. Aussie cat, Aussie cat. I never think I'd, let me see where I'm at with that one.
Aussie CAD's up a couple bucks there, Al.
Yep.
What was your target on that? Did you do 20 pips?
No, I just did 10 pips on it.
Oh, okay.
Take a look at CAD Shaft. That just came up too, and it's a potential good bag entry.
So we have a strong arrow up, strong move up.
Yeah, you don't have a mine had a green zone, it bounced off. Yours doesn't. That's interesting. Another I have
the first time. So
yeah,
you got a green zone down here.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh. Well, let me and you're on the 15-minute chart, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, let's move this thing up here. And we're going to put this on and we are in an uptrend. I'm going to make that assumption here.
Yep.
Yep, definitely in an uptrend. That looks like a trade here.
Yeah, the only thing again, I mean, you know, we do have the news coming out at 8:30 for CAD.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be considered for sure, because right now it's not making a higher high, it's actually making a higher low.
Yeah, at this point.
So we have a trend over here on the bottom. We have this trend going on right to this direction. There's the higher low. We have the arrow, and you said there was a zone here, so we'll kind of go with that. We might have and we do have the previous zone breakout, which was yesterday's money zone. We did have the close above us. So this would be the yesterday's zone breakout right here. Came back down. This was a head fake. Came back down. Got everybody in. Took everybody's stops. Stopped everybody out. Bounced off of here, and now it's going to go on up. I'm okay with this trade. And let me just measure to make sure we have our room to the upside here. This may be a good 20 pipper. 30 pips to the upside. I'm going to buy this one. Cat Swiss.
What's that quote? I'll buy that for $1?
Something like that. Is that a quote? I don't know.
I don't know. I heard it on TV one time.
Cat Swiss, and we're going to buy that one there. Modify, and we'll modify things. I'm going to go for the full 40 and 20 on this one. Let's see. So we're going to go to right click there, modify. And we're going to go for the full 40 pip stop. This seems like a 20 pip target. And that brings the target in. It brings stops in, brings the target in, hit the blue button. And and we still have some room to the upside after our 20 pips. And the stops down below. We got the stop below the trend line. We got the stop well deep into the green zone that I was looking at. And this was a green zone right in here that was showing off. And I can see where there would be a little bit of a zone on that. So now we wait. Then we have a couple trades in today. We'll see how they work out.
Excuse me, Al.
Yes.
Chris would like us to look at on the 1 hour the pound Aussie.
Pound Aussie.
I see we don't have a new alert.
Pound Aussie 1 hour. Move that to 1 hour. And we double check to make sure I don't have anything else that I forgot to put back on my 15 minutes so we don't miss any of those alerts. Put this one out in my other pack and pound Aussie. And let's see, pound Aussie, we're looking at, see where our strength is here still. On the 1 hour, with Hetsu, right now I'm looking that we have, again, this is more of a swing trading thing. We have an uptrend. Everything's above the moving averages. You do have a zone here we're going to have to get through. It came up and tested right here. Pulled back, tested here, came back, retested. This one a little bit deeper. This could be very well your peak of your W. I'd like to see it. We did get the close above it over here, but this zone's still kind of in the way. And you do have a lot of red folders, red zones right up above it, but there's a little room to the upside. Let's see how much. I don't like taking a trade in the zone, like seeing it breaking through that zone first, but there's 50 pips, almost 45 pips to the next zone. And so we have a trend line coming down. So let's draw that one in here. Connect the dots. And let's see, we had, here's an anchor. Here's a near hit. That's probably, let's see how many pips away that is. That, if it's within, oh shoot, that's 10, that's 8 pips away. That's a little bit low for a hit. So here's an anchor. Here's a hit. And here's the break of the trend line. This was the third hit that broke through, came back, retested it. Now it's going on to the upside. British Aussie, and the Aussie is still weak. British is still stronger. I would still like to see it break through this zone. If we go to a 15-minute chart and see if that zone's still here, that might be a good key for you to take a look at, see if it's, go back to a 15-minute. The zone's still there on the 15-minute. And you are in a little bit of a, here's a little bit of a trend on the upside, a little higher highs. I think it's, I'd say if you're in it long, I'd say stay in it long. You'd probably get a little bit of heat right in here. But if they break through, then you have a nice little target up there to the to a target. Because I'm not much of a swing trader, but you got 47 pips. So this if you have the patience, this you may take some heat. It may get a little bounce off of here, come back down and retest this. And you may have a 40 pip move on either side of this thing. Here's where your top is. Here's the 30 pip move to the downside. Here's the 30 pip move to the upside. You'll probably get some activity through here because if you look over to the left, if we can do that, you'll see where it's, but this zone's been tested not once, came back up, got rejected, came back up. So you had some strong rejections off of this zone, came back, strong rejection off of it, came back up. Now the question is, will it break through or not? And I don't know the answer to that. I'll just have to wait and see. So all I can say is it's still a long. There's no reason to get out of it right now. You've got the moving averages are in the right direction. 200 is below. You've got zones being built underneath. And it's, so you have the momentum to your favor. It's just a question of whether or not it's going to break through here. But I would definitely be out of it before you hit this upper zone here. And that's what I have to say about that one. Go back to my, let's make sure I'm on my 15-minute chart so I get the alerts. Any other questions? Aussie CAD. We'll put this back on the 15. Here's the Euro Aussie. Did we do that one? No, we did not. Euro Aussie. Ooh, that looks, what time was that one? That was at 9:45.
that saying short, my friend?
Well, that one was saying it's a long on this one. There's like you got the bounce, the arrow go on this one. The 17th.
For older alerts, though, Al, you have to scroll up in your alert box.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Okay, that's I would say that looks a long time ago. Is okay. Well, keep me straight.
I try.
It's a challenge.
So one of us has to do it.
You've got
Oh,
your,
it looks like that would have worked out well, wouldn't it have? At that time.
I can only assume there would have been a zone in the way at the time.
I had to mute my mic so I didn't while you were talking there to answer your question there, Matt. So, yeah, this looks like was nice. It was here's nice little. Here's the money zone. Here's the overnight high, which is right at where the money zone was. It came back down. We did have the overnight low. This is the overnight session right through here. We had the. Let's move this one down here. Move this one down to the bodies of the candle, and then I said the daybreak low counts and the money zone candle counts. So here's the highest body, here's the lowest body over here, here's the money zone is bouncing back and forth in between. Here is the breakout of the money zone. You could have actually taken it on this candle. We did get the bounce, got the arrow, and so the go would have been on right about, the go really could have been right on this candle, but you can also take it, there's two confirmations on this one. This was the close of the candle with the generate the arrow, so you could take it here. You've taken a little bit of heat, and now you probably would have been up your 20 pips already. Let's see. Yeah, almost. You just about ready to take your profit on this one. Me, I probably would be out by now. I don't spend a lot of emotional inventory for a half a pip or a spread.
Nope. Nope, not at all. It's not worth it.
No. And let's see. So this trade's the Cat Swiss is profitable. We're up 2 pips on this one. Take a little heat on the Euro British. Let's see what that one's doing. Euro British Euro and the
Got a little bit of heat on that one, I think.
yeah. Let's see the Euro British. And 15-minute. So we did Excel on that one. And that was the one that we took with the little bit of a breakout. We took the breakout off that trend line. It was heading on down. I think that's the one we're looking at, heading on down to this one. So this one may not serve us well, but we'll see. I still like the trade. And we have a strong move up. Now this one could possibly, no, I think let's just check our direction on this one. We're still in a downtrend, but boy, that's a long way to that top red zone.
Got an Aussie Swiss and a US Swiss as well, Al. Just came through.
Aussie Swiss, US Swiss. Let's take a look at that. Aussie Swiss. Just looking at it, it looks like it's about even. Let's see if 3 and 3. And see if what kind of range we have in between our two zones. We have 19 pips between the two. I'll pass on that one. It's just not enough range for me. Let's see Aussie Swiss, US Swiss. That's in the zone. I'm not going to say I'm not going to take that one. Let's see the direction on it. 1, 2, 3, 4 red, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green, in an uptrend, barely. It's kind of sandwiched in between a couple of zones. We do have the moving average cross to the upside. That looks a little better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we'll call this an uptrend. Now this one looks like this thing could possibly be could possibly work as a Fibonacci, but we'd have to go from here to this one pulled back. This one could be an extension to it, but you got all this red up here, which means you've got this wick over here. It's going to have some problem getting through this little zone. Take a look at these wicks right in this area. This is the top of the money zone from yesterday. And you just put it right at the top of these wicks. And you're going to have a little bit of extra heat in here. And then once it breaks through, you're going to have to it'll break through this and just got this red area over here. I'm not sure what generated that one. I'm not a fan of this one either. Let's see. Any other questions while we're waiting around and watching? Aussie CAD, we'll take a look and see how that one's doing. The Aussie's still relatively weak, so that's a good thing. This one's getting profitable. Aussie CAD, we'll take a look at that. And we are in a sell, got a down arrow. Actually, we kind of like this one. Down arrow. Here's the arrow. Here would be the entry on this one, would have been down here. We got in this one a little bit late, but not too bad. And the target would be we never did put the target in. That's a no-no. 40 pip, 20 pip. Here's our target zone. And our stop zone is way up top here. And we'll keep an eye on the Euro British. That one's not playing very nice. Strong move down, strong move back up again. And this would be one. If it stops me out, it stops me out. We still have this 200 moving average, which is still holding the ground. The arrow moving average is still below. I may want to just move this stop up a little bit higher, but just make sure it's not too much higher. I mean, right now we have the zone that's in our favor to keep us blocked, and I don't want to get just. I would say I'm going to keep it right where it's at. I think I've got 40 pips there. If I made it 20 pips, I may decide to move it up a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's the 20 pip stop. I can move this up a little bit higher. I like to get it out of, I like this little drop. Here's a little basing. Here's a little wick over wick. I probably want to keep it up, at least up, maybe up, move it up to about this area right in here. That keeps us well past the moving average. I like that a little bit better. And that gives me still less than 40 pip stop on this one. I like finding zone. I don't want to just use flat numbers for the stops or the targets. I kind of like to gauge it a little bit too. I want some barriers in between. And I don't want it to be just sitting right on the edge of the barrier to where it just takes my stop and turns around. That's 31 pips. That's still less than the 40 pips is still way up here. I'm still less than that. If it breaks through this zone and closes above this moving average, I'll probably, if I see it, I'll pull the trade. Just take the loss. And if it comes back, turns around, I can always get back in again. But no sense giving up an extra 10 pips of a loss if you don't have to. But right now, if it breaks and closes above this moving average, that means things aren't working. This zone's supposed to hold. If it doesn't, something's wrong with the equation. I'm willing to take the heat on this, but just give it 10 pips. 10 pips is not a big move against you. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I like that. I like that analysis, Al. I like it. It's she's solid, especially with the 200 sitting there. You know, if it breaks the 200 and it breaks the red zone, maybe the story changes.
Yeah, but until that happens, the story is still the same story. It moves against you, it moves into your favor. It's finding its happy place, and then all you can do is play the odds.
Yep. Well, we've seen that happen too often, right? With the 200. Once it breaks the 200, you're potentially looking for some trouble. That's a lot of trades this morning, Al.
Yeah, we did. It's been a busy morning.
It's been good. Can't make no money when you're not taking trades.
Well, it's been slow the last couple of days, that's for sure.
Yeah, especially, well, yesterday wasn't a great day for myself. I didn't end up doing that well, so.
Did you run the other room yesterday?
I was in there.
So I had some appointments yesterday I had to go do, and so I wasn't able to accommodate. And I got more appointments today, so that's just.
Oh my.
Well, I'm getting my COVID shot today, so I got to drive 45 minutes away to get the spot where I could get it. I had a choice of getting it today or waiting till the next round goes, and so.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Not
that I'm a big fan of getting it. I'm kind of still on the fence about that one, but we're gonna do it. So.
Right. I get you.
I think I think it's gonna get to the point if you're gonna want to travel outside the country, you're gonna have it. So. I could be wrong.
My doctor actually said as much in an email that she sent me, that she foresees that in future travel, we're going to need proof that we have received our vaccines in order to be allowed.
Well, my future son-in-law was just going up to Boston a couple of weeks ago, and he had to have proof before he go into Massachusetts that he was tested. And not just tested. Yeah, he had to show it before they let him into the state.
Huh.
Yeah,
air travel or?
Yeah, he flew up. He flew from North Carolina to Boston.
Yeah.
And he had to have proof that he had that PCR test, I guess it was.
Yeah.
And that's just within the country. So if you're gonna be looking out of the country, I can just now imagine that they're going to want at least a vaccine or something of that nature.
And our wonderful New York. wants you to, even if you travel, you have to stay quarantined for 14 days, and they call you up every day at a phone call number that you give them.
To make sure that you're there.
Yes. And they
That's
Oh
keep
yeah,
always
no,
that's
my
the-
half
ours
hour.
Because the
ours
number you give them could be a cell phone number, so that doesn't
Yeah.
really prove anything.
Yeah. Oh, I know someone that they've actually went to the door.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're crazy here. Sorry. New York, the governor's kind of irritating me. Sorry, guys.
No, you're fine.
crazy.
Government's all broken all over the place. In Canada, if you travel outside, you need to be quarantined in a hotel for like 14 days. Something dumb
At
like
our
that
own-
until
Yeah, at our own
it's
expense.
insane. Yeah, and we pay it, not the government. And you're not allowed to leave, and you have to wait for them to feed you.
That's right. You're locked in.
So dumb.
Well, it's not really dumb. We don't like it,
No,
but
no,
what they're
I get
doing
it.
is for a good reason.
I get it, but
Are the vaccines going up in your area, Matt?
oh, they're pumping them out.
Are they?
No. My friends who work in the healthcare profession already got theirs, so
Yeah.
nurses and
Yeah, I think what's happening here is that as they get release more and more groups to be able to be access to, the people that had the opportunity before, like your older group of people and who don't have it, they're going to be fighting to get spots to because the place around here, when they release the slots for the shots, it's all on a appointment type of basis, and they go pretty fast. So you have to be pretty much right there when they open it up to be able to get in. That's why I've got to drive 45 minutes in order to get to it. I had to go way out of town in order to find a spot to get it.
well. Wonder what happened to my CAD Swiss trade.
What do you mean?
Oh, Al's got one and I don't.
Oh,
Maybe I just didn't take it.
maybe you didn't. Yeah.
I thought he meant it was going in a different direction, man.
No. I'm trying to figure out.
That's like I think David thought too. I don't know. I'm not answering talking for her, but it was just like, what do you mean?
About Willis. Okay, we got a pound US just came in.
If you don't hear me talking right away, it's because I muted my mic so I don't have to be sneezing and coughing. Everybody's here, so.
Wow.
You got bad allergies too, eh, Al?
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Mine are terrible.
It's been brutal here the last couple of days.
We
Yeah.
appreciate that.
But as long as as long as this zone's here, as long as this moving average is here, and everything stays below that, I'm still good with this trade. And this would be I actually be looking at this little area right in here, this little drop, this was a little bit more of a basing area. I like when you have that one candle in between, we have a drop, that one candle in between, that drops again. And this would be a retest area. Actually, I kind of like this area for a retest better, but it's getting a little bit deeper into my zone of comfort.
I like how you're using price action in addition to the confirmations. You know, your drop base and then your drop. So if
Yeah.
it breaks above there, it's game over.
Yeah, see, and I would be using this as the previous high with the to start my trend line to this area right here. So I'll draw it from the top of this, not so much this top candle here, but here's where it based, because this would be the area, the zone that I'd be looking at it to be retesting, and I'll line it up with these two fractal pips right here, and here again, this is one of those trades where if it had the fractal, it should see if it comes down to retest the next zone. Here was a fractal, came up, retest the next zone. Now we have the fractals up here, and it come down to retest this. So we'll just kind of keep an eye on it, just watch it and see if it's either going to work or it won't. If it
What
doesn't
was
work,
that last alert that we received? I forgot. Sorry.
Pound
Well,
US.
pound
Pound
US.
US.
Cool.
And we are not in that, so let's take a look at that one.
Yeah, let's go see what we got, man.
Pound US over. And it's a alert to sell. Now the question is, do we have room? I don't think so. First question. Well, here's where the sell was. So do we have room 20 pips to downside? Nope, we only have 5. That's one disqualifier. 2, are we in an uptrend or a downtrend? Right now we are in a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Actually in a downtrend based on, am I on the 15-minute chart? Yes, I am. So we got a zone here. We have three. Well, actually we're in a downtrend, so we can do that. So we can put that to that's a plus. Go down. So we're in a downtrend. We have a down arrow. So those are 2 pluses, but the negative is we right there 5 pips. If it could break through this zone, then we have a trade down to this one. So we'll keep that one in mind. We'll just bring this back out a little bit. So here's the plan. We have a downtrend, down arrow. We got the arrow alert, down arrow. We have a zone only 5 pips away. Not a good sign. But if we can, but we also have, take out of this a little bit, move it out a little bit. So if it from here would be our stop, would be up above here. And let's see if we have any money zone breakouts or anything like that from yesterday. Yesterday, big move down. I'm not going to see, we actually had a money zone breakout to the upside this morning. But here's let's see if I can get this thing to propagate here. Move this one over to the upside. Move this to the downside. Here was the alert. Here is the entry to the candle of the alert at the open. Should be right about in there. And the target would be, we'd have to be looking at a 20 pip target down to that's down there. So let's see if we can find my target zone. Here's the target. Bring that up. Then we're looking at, the entry was at 38.89. So we're looking at 38.69. 138.869. That would be the target. But if it breaks through this zone, you've got all this down here to go. You may have a couple little areas that might cause you a little bit of a problem. But I'd be looking at the target. I would say maybe bring the target down here. That would actually allow you to take it at a little bit higher level once it breaks through here. 38.54. So 38.74. So basically what this is telling me is that if it can break through this zone, you still have room for your 20 pips before it gets all the way down here. And this is your 20 pip target, right? This is where the candles start turning red. This is where the yellow or the arrow moving average gave up the downtrend and it crossed over. So I'd be looking at this as being another bounce point. We had a strong move up, came back down, retested this. Now, you may catch a little bit of heat right in here as it's starting to base through here. But right now it's not a trade because you have this zone you have to get through here first. But I would draw a trend line from this point over to here to this. Actually, I pretty much have a flat base. You have a trend line to the top. There's that little slope that Nathan often talks about with your M. Here's the first shoulder of the M. The first shoulder of the M. Here's the bottom of the M. Here's the second shoulder of the M. We have a close now below the middle of the M. That's where the M makes an M, and then, but it's got to get through this area. So it's this. I would say this is a potential trade. If you took it now, it'd be early, but I wouldn't. I would not be surprised if it just bounced off of that for a little bit. You had a little bit of retracement. This really wasn't it was the bounce. If we had an arrow before it retracted back, it came back up, didn't hit the zone, and then it gave us the arrow. So it really wasn't a bounce arrow go, but it does have some room to the downside. And the British pound is still, it's getting weaker now to the US dollar. US dollar is now getting stronger on the higher time frame. So we're also at the 830 point where we're going to have that
8:30 turnaround.
Yeah, well, we had the announcement.
Oh yeah, that's true. The news.
And let's see if any news happened since what the news was here. 8:30.
Actually, I've got a question in the Q&A. CB, maybe you can answer this. Does Arrow 4 scan multiple time frames?
So Arrow, well, just so there's two different 4.0. So really, I think at the end of the day, what we're going to be hearing is 4.0 represents just the normal Arrow software that we're all used to. 4.0 has just been better optimized to work with the VPN. The other thing that sort of this person's asking about that will be out hopefully really shortly that, Matt and I have been testing, although we don't have access to it today, is the Arrow dashboard, which I think at one point the dashboard was really, they were calling the dashboard 4.0, but I think you have the 4.0 software better optimized for the VPN, and then the Arrow dashboard, which will be out to all of us hopefully later this week or soon. That is where you'll be able to add any number of assets you want, whether it be Forex, crypto, and you name it. And you also, in a grid-like format, will have the assets sort of on the vertical, and then as many different time zones as you want on the horizontal in a dashboard format, so that you can be monitoring arrow alerts for any time frame with any asset that your broker has available to you.
Interesting. Sounds like some good things coming.
Yeah, it's really cool. Couple little enhancements or tweaks that need to be done to the VPN, I guess, to make this dashboard we're talking about, work consistently for everybody. So that's what we're sort of waiting for now. The Canadian news came out. It was it was 0.1% lower than forecast for the CPI.
Wow.
So I don't know if that sounds like it might weaken the Canadian dollar. I don't know if we're seeing that on the charts, but
we're just about ready to hit 10 pips on the Canadian Swiss trade that we had. Let's see, take a look at that one again. See if we're looking at any type of a bounce that we may want to just close this thing out. I forget what I went with this one.
Yeah, that's a nice trade, Al.
CAD Swiss. Yeah, this is a nice little trade. This is the one I think we went for the full 20 pips on this one.
Yeah, there was, I was watching that trade. There was a little resistance on the M5 and it broke right through it. So might keep going.
So far, so good. And see the Aussie CAD. We're about our spread away on that one. And that was a sell. And right now we're still playing around with that one. And I'm still okay with this one. I think this one we only went for, so we got in at 43 and our target's 53, 63. Yeah, we're still going for 20 pips on this one as well.
No, that's the CAD Swiss you're looking at, Al. The Aussie's right above it.
Oh,
He's in at 19.
there we go.
Yeah.
This was, let's see, price. We got in at 19. Target is 03. So
16.
yeah, it's still 20 pip target on that one. One of these I only had 10 pips on. Which one? It must have been the first one, I think. 54 to 65. Yeah, basically 55 to 65. Yeah, this one, the Euro British, we're looking at 10 pip target, 20 pip stop on this one. Let's take a look and see if that one's still, I think that's the one that's, we're probably taking the heat on. Euro British. Let's see if it's still, everything's still in check. It came, we had this, I like this. We had fractal here, we have a fractal here, and good chance we'll get another fractal here. We have the fractals in the zone, looking for the target to come down into the next zone. We have a rejection off the trend line. This was a little bit of a head fake to the downside, came back up, looking for stops, get everybody stopped out, and then it's going to come back down and give us what we wanted. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it till proven wrong. And we are taking, I mean, even though we're looking at only 10 pips, 11 pips away, if we're willing to take a 10 pip part target with a normal, with a smaller swing, we shouldn't be freaking out with the 10 pip going against us a little bit either. The odds are still well in our favor. We have moving average in our favor. We have this moving average. It's kind of sandwiched in between the two. This one's still trending below the 200 until we get across like we had here, like over here, way over here, we had a cross to the upside. Get back down, it's crossing to the downside. And that's the wave. So just let it do its thing here. And this is, it's almost kind of forming a little bit of an M formation here. Here's the first leg of the M, shoulder, middle of the M, coming back up, forming the second shoulder, and then looking for a drop down to the downside. Into our target. Here's a fractal, and here's a little bit of a lower low. So here's a low, here's a lower low. You can probably move it down here. This is actually the new playground that it's developing. Get a break off the second low. That'd be a nice little trade there. But we're still in it. We're still in it. We got in maybe a little bit earlier than we would have liked to, but then we're playing the odds. Does CAD news affect the British pairs? It depends if it's a British CAD pair or not. CAD affects a lot of things because CAD's so tied to oil, and oil is such a worldwide thing that when you talked about something that's controlled, that a country that has a lot of energy affects the energy effects, or oil affects the currency of the Canadian dollar. Anybody that uses oil, that's any country is going to probably be affected by what the CAD does. Just like the U.S. dollar, most everything gets affected with the U.S. being the reserve currency. So just because it's a CAD pair, an Aussie pair, It's going to affect whatever it trades against, whatever kind of trade it has business with. Any other questions? What time is we have?
We had an alert.
Oh, okay.
The,
Thank
the
you.
Aussie New Zealand.
Aussie, New Zealand, Aussie, New Zealand. Let's take a look at that. Alert to the upside. Buy. Scrunch it in. We are in an uptrend. That's a good thing. We have an up arrow. That's a good thing. We're in a red zone. That's a bad thing. So no trade. We'll make a mark of it. If it breaks through the zone, see how deep is that zone. That's the other thing too. Look how deep the zone is. That's got to break through. Just think of it as a wall that it's got to break through that wall. The thicker the wall, the harder, the more it's going to have to fight to get through it. It's got 12 pips to the upside with a lot of reset. You got wicks here. You have wicks over here. You have wicks over here. You have a little bit of a trend. Here's a high. Here's a lower high. Here's pretty much an equal rejection off of this. I would not take this trade. So get rid of that and wait for the next alert. Yeah, we say we have about another 7 minutes. So anything anybody wants to take a look at before we go?
That's a chance, guys.
All right, coffee's brewing.
You're buying today, Matt.
Hey, I can FedEx it to you. I found Starbucks coffee on sale at Costco, so it was great. The dark roast Verona.
Well, since you're FedExing that, they do have Starbucks gift cards that we can always.
Yeah, but it's not the same, Al. It's not the same.
I like the Verona. It's good.
Yes, I love dark, strong coffee. I think I remember having this discussion with you on your.
When you were at my place, no?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. You asked me how I liked my coffee. I said as dark, as strong as you can make it.
And I didn't disappoint, I think.
No, I was actually really impressed. It was good.
Before moving out of the big city.
Yep. Well, Judson, I need to be careful about my coffee consumption because I go a little bit wacky, kind of like a squirrel if I have too much. But the dark roast has less caffeine, so.
I'm impressed. Few people know that. They think
Oh.
it's the opposite. And I'm
Actually,
telling them the more you roast the beans, the less caffeine there is in it.
actually, there's less caffeine in espresso than there is in normal brewed
That's
coffee.
right.
Just by the brewing.
Bingo.
That's right.
But because of the concentration of the beans, you can have significantly more caffeine in a quad espresso than a coffee.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you have
But
quad,
right,
that's that.
right.
Yeah.
You learn all kinds of things in this room.
I was just
Oh,
thinking
yes.
the same exact thing.
I've worked in the food industry pretty much my entire career. And the most recent job that I had, Starbucks was one of our huge accounts. That and Mother Parker's. So I know my coffee.
There you go. Yeah. I love a good coffee. I'll settle for McDonald's coffee if I have like no option. Their bean roasting and the way that they do their coffee, at least here in Canada, is actually really well.
Yeah, they've really improved. In the beginning, it was nasty, but they've really
Yeah.
come a long way with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's big down here too.
Yeah, they're pretty much my go-to if I need fast food coffee.
Oh, what do we have? We've got a question in the Q&A. Can you look at the U.S. Swiss, please?
Ooh,
US
U.S. Swiss. Let's have some fun.
In about a 15-minute chart. Toza porn.
US Swiss 15. Bouncing off the zone. It did break. We had a zone here. We had the arrow. We had the zone. It broke the zone. But remember we said that there was a zone there, but there was a lot of red above. I think it's the one we said there was a lot of red above it. You can see where it came up. And it's, yeah, I would not, again, this is one I think I said I wouldn't take this one because of how thick that zone was. We did get the break of this, but it came right on up and then it's got rejected. I think what I was saying with this one is that if it broke through here, I'd definitely be out of the trade by then. I think we were looking at this on an hourly chart. I'm thinking, I can't remember anymore.
Hey, Al, the reason why this person might be asking about this trade is on Envy here, the other broker, there is no red zone where you are there. The
Really?
first red zone, yeah, the first red zone is that one up above. Higher, not that
this one here?
Yeah,
This,
yeah, that's
wow.
the only
So
one
this
showing
was not
on.
this was not showing up on Envy.
Nope.
Well, I'll tell you, that's significant. That's a significant difference.
Yep.
Well, that's noteworthy because
That's noteworthy. Yeah, that's
but look,
noteworthy
you
because
got. But before we probably didn't have that wick there, did we? Like that
well,
last.
the thing that concerns me about that is that that's a 10 pip zone, 12 almost 12 pip zone.
That's pretty thick.
That's pretty thick. I mean, if it's something like this, I can understand maybe, but when you have something, especially when it covers so many different candles, that's a little bit just
Hey, Al, is that thin one you drew?
Yeah, the orange one is one I drew.
Okay.
Yeah, that was one I drew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, I think that was reference to a. Let's see where we at here on I think was this thing. I think it was on an hourly chart. I think is what we were looking at with this one.
There is a red zone, by the way, on the 5 minute, for the record.
That just boggles my mind why they're so different. All the more reason,
cool.
All the more reason to understand price action analysis to be able to help make those decisions. I mean, the zones are definitely nice to have, and that's a key part of how we trade these things.
And again, just for the record, is this the 5 minute US Swiss you're looking at?
Well, yeah, I just put the
Yes.
5 minute on.
Yeah, so again, your chart has that deep, it's all in resistance right now. My chart has, my 5 minute has only the top of, we just got a fractal at the peak there. That it is just touching the red. So the red zone for me is just right there. It's a thin red zone where yours obviously is all encompassing here.
Wow.
So really drastically different.
That is really drastically different.
Well, now yours just changed.
Oh yeah, it just switched, eh?
Yeah, there you go. Now it looks like mine.
I did. Oh, really? I did absolutely nothing.
All right.
So what's interesting, I think this is worth some discussion here. What's interesting is that this zone was formed all the way back here off to the left of my chart. What happened here that would cause this stuff to change based on what it was drawn back here?
That's interesting. It's not that candle that just closed or that new candle, because that would have been inside the zone, right?
Exactly.
That doesn't make sense.
I mean, this area, yeah, so something happened here that caused, so I guess I'm just trying to figure out I just know based on previous expert advisors that I've used, reference that did things like this type of charting, is that whatever happened here drew the chart, and until that gets broken, it stays there. This action here caused this thing, and nothing's happened since here to cause this red zone to go away. Nothing's really, if this was drawn, the only, I don't know, there's something that happened in this area that caused that to go away, but it did all the way up here. And that's all part of the algorithm that we don't know how it's thinking, but it did have something happened here that caused that to go away. And that's why your charts are different than ours. But that's still a significant difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you both have different brokers too.
Yeah, but you think with the feeds of the brokers, they're basically just going out to the world markets and getting the orders filled. So it shouldn't be that different between the different brokers, unless their spreads or their fills are that significantly different. And then between the two brokers that we're talking about here, they're both A-book brokers. So the fees should be relatively the same.
Yeah, but a lot of times when we're doing the charts, the NV charts have the direction before and the number of zones before LCMFX. Just something that I saw.
Is that something one of your observations there, Christine?
Yes.
Well,
Observations are good.
yeah, we got to figure these things out. And with that, we have about 3 minutes left. We have a 9 o'clock session going on. I got to be getting out of here. Let's just wrap it up. Keep an eye on the trades that you have open. We were up almost 10 pips. Now we're down 2 pips on this one trade. So there again, doesn't hurt to take your profits. Now go for that 10 pips. Go for a lot bigger lot size. Go for your 10 pips and double your lot size. You double your profits with less pip strings. So that's something to keep in mind as you manage your finances and manage your trade allotments. And with that, thanks again for being here. We appreciate everybody, and we will see everybody tomorrow.
All right, everybody. See y'all tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Have a great
Thank
day.
you.
Bye-bye. Bye.